Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw. I'm here aboard the Windstar Star Legend, and we're here on the Borneo and Philippines cruise, which is also the President's Cruise. And I have with me the President of Windstar, John Delaney, and the Vice President of Fleet Operations, Chris Prelog, and we're going to talk a lot about this ship and all of its features. And this is Insider Travel Report. Now, John, here we are. We're actually only on our second day of a 14-day cruise. I can't believe you're doing a 14-day cruise.
You know, it's one of the tough things about my job, James. Somebody had to come out here and do this President's Cruise. But no, seriously, it was, we really wanted to celebrate the fact that Asia was a new destination for us. Since I've started, we've added almost 150 new ports, a lot of great port content here in Asia. And the reason I personally wanted to do this one is because we'll be, as you know, in the Philippines. And it gives us an amazing opportunity to celebrate our Filipino crew who do an amazing job for us.
Yeah,
So
and they are great already. I've only been on 2 days and they're amazing, and we're going to get a lot of chance to interact with them. And Chris, you have a sort of an anniversary here because you started on this ship some time ago, right?
Yes, that's correct, James. So actually on the day today started 20 years ago, and as a dining room waiter, and yeah, it feels great to be back, and it's a beautiful ship, so it feels great.
Yeah. Now, you also have something in common, is that you both came from another line, Seabourn, and now you are here. Let's talk a little bit about the reasons why you both decided to come over here for a lot smaller ships, right?
Yeah, well, and that is the reason, James. Quite honestly, I think both Chris and I have a real love for true small ship cruising, and Seabourn is a terrific brand. I so value the time that I spent there, but we're able to do things here when you only have 200 guests on board that you just can't do when you get much bigger than that. Highly customized tour offerings, just the social feeling of the ship. It feels like a club. You really get to know people much better, the crew and the guest relationship. You don't have that anywhere else except for this size ship. So it was a big factor for me, and I think for Chris as well.
Yeah, Chris, what are your feelings on that?
Yeah, that's correct. I think what really allows us to do a really good job on the product is this one-on-one interaction between the guests and the crew, and you feel like family. And it's also between the office staff in Seattle and the crew on board the ships, as well as with the guests. We are in touch with guests and crew on a daily basis, and that's really making the job very, very easy for us.
Well, and it does look like you have some Windstar passengers who are real enthusiasts here. You have a lot of repeat, right?
Yes, we do, and they are so fiercely loyal, and they love this brand, they love this company, they love the crew, and it's just such a pleasure every time I'm out here. I think you probably feel the same.
So, John, we're already having fun out here. It's been a great cruise just in 2 days, and I'm sure we're going to get a lot more done, right?
You know, we will, and the word fun is, I think, a perfect word to choose, James, because candidly, we're having fun in this role since I came over, since Chris came over. You know, one of the things that we both have commented about so often is that we have incredibly supportive ownership, and it is so easy for us to get things done. We can be a quick, nimble brand. If we have an idea that we want to go out, execute tests, we just go out and do it without a lot of bureaucracy or hurdles. And I think that's going to be an amazing advantage for Windstar going forward, because we can be very reactive. We can really take this brand more quickly to different levels of destination delivery, service, culinary, all of the above.
Well, that's something that is said for a small ship cruising and for a small company. Now, Chris, talk a little bit about some of the features of this ship in particular and the Windstar ships as a whole.
Well, all of the Windstar ships, of course, are less than 320 guests. This particular one, the Star Legend, is 200 guests, and you have about 160 crew members on board, so your ratio is almost 1-to-1. That's an incredible feature to start with, and what that allows us to do is really provide a unique personal experience, starting from great food, our affiliation with the James Beard Foundation, and serving 3 meals a day with multiple choices and really high-end products. That's really what's allowing us to do.
Yeah, and also the cabins are they're actually quite large considering the small size of the ship, right?
Correct. I mean, these are some of the largest cabins around. There's all marble bathrooms. There's, really a nice seating area as well as a sleeping area, and you really have a sense of space in the cabins, and it's
And
really
and
beautifully
the public areas.
Well, you did. We're in one of the public areas. We're in the card room, screening room, where actually they show movies and stuff like that. And there's a lot of lounges, and you don't feel like it's a crowded ship.
No, that's a real advantage of the small ships for us, and actually all 6 of our ships, James, have that same characteristic. You don't feel crowded, and beautiful cabins and suites, and it's one of the real highlights of Windstar.
Now, is there any difference between sort of your motorized yacht product and your sailing yacht product?
Yes, there's some differences between the motorized yachts. They have larger appointed suites, and Windstar fleet, the original Windstar fleet, they have a really large outdoor deck area. There's a lot of activities outside on decks. So there's some distinct differences between the 2 fleets.
But you have integrated both. Now, at this point, you really integrated the 6 ships, right?
We really have, and you have 2 different styles of cruising, and our Windstar ships, the sailing ships, we tend to put in warm, beautiful weather destinations because it is, as Chris said, about being up on deck. These little ships that we're on now, these beautiful all-suite ships, perfect for longer cruises like we're doing, a 14-day cruise.
14 days, pretty long.
But what ties it together, what ties both experiences together, is the amazing crew, the true small ship feeling, where we go, where we're able to go, the service, as I mentioned, the feeling of the officer. So I mean, there is a lot that connects both experiences. It's uniquely Windstar, including what we really love, which is this very, very upscale but casual luxury experience.
Right.
No jackets required when we're here in the Philippines.
Yeah, no, I had to I told one of my colleagues who was on board as well that no jackets required. You don't have to be in a jacket, and maybe even tonight at the captain's dinner, I don't know if we need a jacket. But you mentioned earlier about, John, you mentioned, and maybe Chris, you can talk about it. There seem to be a lot of crew that have been here for a while, and they're very loyal, and we're now going to get a chance to really interact with them, right?
Well, and it's exactly that point. You have a lot of loyalty amongst the crew, and the crew knows the guests as well, and there's a lot of loyalty within the guests. So when guests join a Windstar ship, they immediately connect to the crew because we've got some really long-serving crew members on all the ships, and they have worked on all the ships, so they can talk about the Star Legend while they're serving on the Wind Spirit to the guests there, and there's a really nice connection between the fleet and the guests.
Many of our guests would say that's like coming home because of this family feeling of Windstar.
Well, I do. I have run into a lot of your guests in just 2 days now on board who have been here on multiple Windstar cruises. They really are, devotees of the brand. So
they are. They're, like I said earlier, they're fiercely loyal. It is a family. We really believe it's the Windstar family, and that's how we make all of our decisions. One of our guiding principles, and something that I think is unique.
Well, John, Chris, thank you very much for sort of explaining what's going on with Windstar today on the start of this 14-day cruise, and we're going to have a lot more video interviews and a lot more video from this cruise because we're on for a while. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to it.
Thank you for
and thank you for inviting me. Good to see you guys.
Thank you.
I am James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.